Hey, welcome to the Sounds on Vinyl show. As always, my name is Phil Boyer, and from across the vast open sea where the Vikings once took over the sea, this is my brother from another mother, Professor Rockstar Extraordinaire, lead vocalist for many, many bands, Mr. Mike Svensson. Mike. Are you roasting in Sweden, or is it somewhat cool? Are you good?
Today it's really good. It's around 70, 72, which is sort of like 20 degrees Celsius. So, and yesterday we were in like the 90s. So it was crazy. I can't function when it's too hot. It's the older I get, the more problems I have with that. So I just want to sit still in a corner and do nothing, listen to records.
Yes.
And
I
of
hear
course,
that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's been crazy in your neck of the woods, for crying out loud.
Yes,
over
our temperature
90s.
has been fire.
Yeah.
For the last, it's fire.
Jeez,
it's we don't even go by degrees anymore. It's just it's fire. Is it fire or not?
Yeah.
It's fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
So over 90. Over 90 you have?
Over 90. We've been at 90 or close to it or above for the entire month of July. And
for European listeners, it's like between 33 and 35 to 36 Celsius around there, which is fucking insane.
Yes,
it's really insane.
It's hot. It's just it's insane. And I was telling Mike before the show that we in my office, I've got an converted attic in my office, so all the heat comes up, and we live in an old 100-year-old house and doesn't have air conditioning. And so one day I brought a thermometer up here because I wanted to see how hot it was, and it was like 97 in my office. So it's getting to the point where it's insane. It's bad. But anyway, we have music though to kind of help us
a lot of music
through the tough times that they so. Yeah,
I'm thinking that I'm gonna start this show with where we left it last time. Of course, we talked some about Metallica being in the Stranger Things series with the guy, the character Eddie Munson playing Master of Puppets. So, and of course, if you're watching, you can see I got my Hellfire Club T-shirt from the show. Looks like this.
Okay.
See?
There you go.
I bought this one. Me and my daughter bought it. So, and of course, we have to talk about this record. And this is the monster of them all.
Kill 'em all.
Kill 'em all, right there. So, do you know why I'm showing this? We did a show about this album a while back, but why the hell am I showing this right now? Do you know?
Is it an anniversary?
Oh, it is an anniversary. Yesterday, we're recording this, so yesterday means July 25th. It was the 39th anniversary of this album. And I know there's anniversaries for stuff that is 40, 45 and whatnot. And I remember Number of the Beast. It turned like 40 this year. But my first Maiden album was Peace of Mind, and I discovered them late 83. I remember when this album, Kill 'Em All, came out. I was 12 years old, and a friend of mine was into Metallica. I didn't get them on this album because I thought it was like too loud, too heavy. So I waited a while. They played Mow the Breath on national radio here in Sweden when I was growing up. That was about it. And I think I heard like Four Horsemen that's about it. So my go-to album, the first one that I got, was Ride Lightning. But I still remember seeing this in the record store, which is insane to think about, that you were there right then when this iconic album Kill 'Em All was released. And to think about that 39 years ago. Damn.
39. God, we're fucking old, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we are. But who cares? We're having too much fun. So this is a special one. I got a couple of pressings of this one. This is a gatefold pressing. It looks like this. If you go to our YouTube channel, which is kind of hard to, we have to talk about this. It's kind of hard to grasp.
You can go to weareboozehound.com/YouTube, and that'll take you right to our YouTube channel. weareboozehound.com/YouTube.
Yeah, and if you go to the soundsonvinyl.com, you will find a link, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you can find the video there too as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to soundsonvinyl.com, all the latest video and audio episodes are available for you.
So this is a limited edition, a direct metal motor double LP of Kill 'Em All with that. I'm opening it up and showing people, even though you'll listen. So, and this is like from back in the day. You can see all the craziest stuff that was going on the Metallica show back in the day, and you got your lyrics on that side in the gatefold. And the pretty boys on the back. Look at those. Look at those. Look at Lars. He's like 12 years old, for crying out loud.
He is.
Yeah.
He's trying to look like
crazy.
a badass, but he just has that baby face, and it does, even now that he's like, 50-something years old, he still looks like a baby.
And
nice.
I just love, I mean, the slogan or whatever you want to call it, on the back here that says, "Bang that head that doesn't bang." That was my motto back in the day. Fucking metal. So Eddie Munson, Metallica, Stranger Things, Master of Puppets. It's. I mean, I was that character, because we talked about this, me and my kids. I was that fucking character, Eddie Munson, back in the day. I was that goofy kid with the back patches and whatnot from like the age of 12 and moving forward. So and the Outcast played music. Who the hell plays music? I was drummer in a band, and nobody only the older kids from my block played any instruments at all, and me. So I got to hang with the older kids, which was kind of cool, because they got all the albums and I could record them on cassette tape and so forth. But I was sort of like an outcast, looking the way I did with my back patch and so forth. So, but that's another story. Yeah. So Metallica, of course.
Hey, after we recorded last week's show about that, I went and I saw a headline that, and I didn't realize this, but Robert Trujillo's son actually played guitar on that version of Master of Puppets.
Oh, okay.
For the show.
Ah.
Which I didn't know that. Yeah, so he added some guitar on that. So that wasn't all just the original record. He actually kind of added some guitar to make it feel a little more raw, a little more real.
But I saw a clip where the actor, Joseph Quinn, he plays the guitar himself. So I have heard that
well, that
story.
could be. I'm just saying, unless that's Robert Trujillo's son. I don't know. I don't know who.
I heard that story, but I watched some behind the scenes footage where he tried to nail all of the stuff, because he played guitar. Because the Duffer Brothers, who created Stranger Things, said, "Do you play guitar?" And I say, "Yeah, I played guitar for a couple of years, only acoustic, but still." And they say, "Yeah, well, you need to learn Master of Puppets by Metallica." And he was sort of like, "Holy shit." And he's struggling and he's doing it, and it turns out great. So, but I don't know if that is his recording. Maybe it's just because when you see it in the show, it looks real. So maybe it's just the actor playing like
miming it rather than
miming
actually
it,
playing it.
And okay, and it's Robert's son who plays the actual guitar. I don't know, but it's cool either way. I mean, Monster Puppets skyrocket up on the Billboard list, and it's it
made the top
insane.
40 in the UK.
Yeah, fucking hell,
40.
That's freaking insane.
It's awesome.
So,
all right, what else we got, man?
We got some good stuff. Need to take a drink here. So, we went to Gothenburg. Me and my son. It was his first show with this band, and of course, we had to before we went there. We had to have a warm up evening, and of course, we went to Gothenburg to watch Iron Maiden play, and and we had to warm up with Live After Death. And I'm holding up my copy here from back in the day, and it says double live album includes an 8-page color booklet, and it's a gatefold, and it's so freaking beautiful still to this day. And all the songs you got. Aces High, you got 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Trooper, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and so forth. And many of these songs are still in the set list today. And it was a freaking fantastic show in Gothenburg. Say what you will about Iron Maiden and the current lineup or albums that they release to this day, but if you go see a Maiden show, you're not going to be disappointed. It's like we talked about this with Metallica. Some people don't like the new Metallica, Phil, but if you're going to a show with Metallica or Maiden, you're in for a treat. You get your money's worth right there.
I mean, Maiden is just one of those bands that, I mean, these guys are pushing 70, and you got Guy Bruce running around the freaking stage and can still sing.
Yeah.
Like, literally running around the stage, climbing on shit. And he can sing. Like, how do you, I don't even know how that's possible.
And
you get a great show.
Yeah, and he had throat cancer, for crying out loud, just a couple of years ago. Throat cancer in his fucking throat. He couldn't utter a word, and he said he thought, this is it. I'm never gonna sing again. And all of a sudden he beat that with chemotherapy and came out on top. And you have to have that with you when you what I mean. Bruce Dickinson is like 64 years old. Nick McBrain is like 70, and all the guys are in the like between 65 and 70. So you have to take that in consideration when you watch the show. And it's nuts.
The energy is just insane. The energy that these guys, I don't know how they do it night after night on tour. It's just,
it's insane.
Man, they're like little toddlers. The amount of energy that they have. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you just want to channel that. And like, if I just had, I go and play with my grandkids and they wear me out, man. And it's like, if I just had a fraction of the energy that they have, man, it would be great. And Maiden seems to have that.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching this YouTube video of Maiden playing live, and they were showing Nico, and he's wearing this Iron Maiden shirt. Actually, it wasn't a Maiden shirt, but it was a picture of Eddie.
Yeah.
But instead of Eddie's face, he had his own face. It was Nico's face in place of Eddie's. I'm like, that's awesome. I want a shirt like that. I want a shirt with my face.
Yeah. And he's the goofy guy in the band. It's always up to something. And it's crazy, but being a nerd that I am, I tend to keep track on stuff. They usually do a 1 hour and 45, 1 hour and 50 minutes. That's it. But all of a sudden they added like 3 songs from the new album just because they were supposed to go on tour with the new album, but due to COVID they couldn't do it. So they did a mix. They started the show with like 3 brand new songs from the new S7E8 album. And then they changed the set and went into the Legacy of the Beast, which was the tour that was supposed to ended like in 2020 or something like that. So, and my son, he wanted to see the airplane in they got a big Spitfire up on stage on the song Aces High. So he said, "Oh man, I really hope." Well, relax, it's gonna be there because they don't want to cheat you with doing a completely new show. They want to add stuff instead of withdraw stuff. So they added 3 songs, changed the set, and came into the Legacy of the Beast and continued the show from there on. So that people that bought tickets like 3 years ago were able to see the last bits and pieces of the Legacy of the Beast tour, which I thought was like, that's freaking awesome. And I mean, thinking about this, I mean, they know their fans. They know what they can expect from them, and the fans expect this from Maiden. And it's sort of like it's family. It's family. Going to a Maiden show, it's like watching a family member on stage. It's crazy. And now to the fun part. We went to a hotel in the middle of Gothenburg in Sweden, and we hit it big because Maiden was they were staying at the same hotel that we are, even on the same floor.
No
Which
shit.
is
That's awesome.
It's insane. So when we're checking into the hotel, Adrian Smith comes out of the elevator, and my son goes like this. Oh shit! It's Adrian Smith, man. And all of a sudden we're staying there in the lobby to see if we can spot someone else. But it took a while, so we had to go up and change for the evening, and we went down to the restaurant to have some dinner. And all of a sudden, Bruce Dickinson comes out, because we're sitting at a big window that was opening. They were opening up because it was a hot day in Gothenburg. So we could see that when Bruce Dickinson jumped into one of those escalator cars and went to the shows, and my son was like freaking out. It was so cool to see. So that was a great thing. So, and man, what a show. I gotta tell you, 65,000 people, completely sold out venue, outdoor, warm breeze, sort of like around 70, something like that. Can see the sun going down over the arena, and it was epic. And my son, he was in shock. He was in shock. He was in awe. He was so happy. He didn't know how to react. And all the songs came out. All his favorite song, Revelations, Hallowed Be Thy Name, The Trooper, Number of the Beast, Aces High, and it was a frenzy. It was so great. It was so great. So, oh man, there you go. I'm all wound up. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's been so many years since I've seen Maiden play live, and they're one of the bands that I really miss seeing live. Them and Metallica, I think they really put on the best shows of all the bands. You got some band like Priest. I've been seeing some of the stuff Priest has been doing, and unfortunately, it's only half the band there.
Yeah, it is,
and Rob's voice isn't what it used to be.
No.
Still better than some, but it's not what it used to be. But it's still, I don't know. I don't know if I'd just go see a Priest concert these days. I want to go back to the 70s and see him. But.
Yeah, that would be something. And speaking of, this is kind of creepy that you're mentioning Judas Priest, because this is my next album right here.
Oh.
Do you know this one?
Yeah.
I've been playing
That's
this.
One of my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Screaming for Vengeance right here. And, of course, it's another anniversary. it's the 40th anniversary of Screaming for Vengeance.
No.
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 I mean,
no, it's only the 10-year anniversary. It only came out 10 years ago.
10 years ago. That's it. I mean, the song list on this, sometimes there is albums that I play during periods of time during the year, more and less, and it's back and forth. Some years that I play a lot of Dio, I play a lot of Kiss, I play a lot of Metallica, and Judas Priest. It was quite a while ago that I played Screaming for Vengeance, so I was putting it on my turntable, and you got like Hellion, Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind, Bloodstone, Pain and Pleasure,
phenomenal.
Screaming for Vengeance. You got Another Thing Coming, Fever, Devil's Child. I mean, there is not a bad song on this album. It's fucking insane.
Every single song on that record is epic. It's phenomenal. It's just
years.
It's the way records should be.
Yeah. I mean, I know, right? 40 years ago, you created music like this. Weren't we so lucky growing up in the early 80s? I mean, I talked about Metallica, Kill 'Em All. We got, Screaming for Vengeance. We got Number of the Beast. We got like Back in Black. We got For Those About to Rock. We got Holy Diver with Dio. I mean, it's a shitload of iconic albums that came out in the early 80s.
Yeah. And when we say iconic, we mean it, because it's funny you bring that record out, because yesterday on the porch, my wife, she likes some hard rock and metal, but she wouldn't identify as like a metalhead or anything. She's not like us, right?
No.
And we've been testing out this new product management software called Millinote. And so we were on the porch yesterday having some aquavit and had our iPads, and we were just kind of playing with the software, trying to get used to it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so she created this board called Another Thing Coming. and I'm like, oh, Judas Priest.
Yeah.
So she went and she went to YouTube, grabbed the link to the video, and embedded it into this new software. And so we're like playing this on the porch yesterday. You got Another Thing Coming. It's like, it was just so much fun to do that. And, this was her, not me bringing this up. It was her bringing up this song from 40 years ago. Like, it's so funny.
And it's nuts, because I actually do the same thing that you do. I get so excited when people are bringing stuff that I like into the mix. Makes me for millionth of a second not completely alone in this. Oh, she played. I mean, she likes The Trooper. She likes Another Thing Coming. I mean, it was her, not me. It was him, not me. But it's sort of like you want to be alone, because I love listening to records by myself, and of course I love to listen to records with friends too. But when I listen to records, it's we talked about this before. It's a ritual for me. I have to sit there in my sofa. Sometimes I use headphones, but for the most part I don't. And I got two records players, one on my patio outdoor room, and one in my living room, so I can change where either my family are watching TV or whatnot. I can move to a different place, and I can sit there. And it's all like this ritual that I have. I'm sitting there with my vinyl records, reading the lyrics that I've read like 1,000 times, listening to the album. And we came to talk about this yesterday, with what it is that gets you going. And I was talking to my daughter about this. She's 18 years old. and she loves vinyl records to look at them. She buys them and collects them, but puts them up on a small shelf so that you can watch them. It's on display because she thinks that they are beautiful looking. And so we talked about this, and I tried to explain, and you remove the internet, you remove the mobile phone, the cell phone, and you remove everything else that was like in the way, sort of. I love the digital media. Don't get me wrong. I love that. I mean, you and I could get together and record a show like this because we're digital now. But back in the day, this is what you had. I mean, to be able, like I told you before, to be able to sit down and you got an older brother, a friend of mine, his older brother, he bought a lot of albums, and I was there with my cassette tape. I'm an only child, so I was there all the time, and he was like so nice to us little kids. So he say, okay, you can record it. I know that you're into this and so forth. And that's like the analog way that we did it. And then you earned your own money mowing the lawn or whatever the hell you were doing. And then you can go to the record store and buy this album physically, holding it in your hands like this. Okay, for the people who listen, I'm holding up a vinyl record. So, and watching the cover art and feeling it and grasping the whole. I mean, this is the way that the band wanted to present themselves, like this, with the artwork, and you can be there with them and listen to what they were struggling to create for you to be able to listen. How fortunate are we to be able to listen to Screaming for Vengeance and talking about this like 40 some years ago on a podcast today, because we're two nerds growing up in the 80s. So that's the difference.
Yeah, like it just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, we're just as excited 40 years later as it was when it came out.
Oh,
And I remember hearing those songs for the first time, and every time I listen to that record, it's like the same. It's the same way.
And every time I talk about that,
even You've Got Another Thing Coming.
Oh yeah.
You know, the song is like everywhere. It's one of those iconic songs that is really gone to the mainstream. But even that song.
Oh yeah.
Is like, I still get excited hearing it.
Yeah, it's nuts. I have to contain myself every time I talk about this album because I don't want to freak everybody out. So it's sort of like I'm taking the high ground and being some sort of an adult in the room. I don't know. Okay, but moving.
That's still fun.
Yeah, moving along. There's been and you don't know this, because we haven't talked about it. Because it's vacation time here, but there is a thing right now, or for like the past week or so, it's moved along since then. One of the channels had to shut down, and I will explain why in a short bit. But there is a person that worked close with this small little band called Kiss. And he had a thing where he was supposed to collect licensing fees so that they could like use videos because Kiss doesn't own, oddly enough, they don't own their own video stuff. A lot of stuff that they don't own themselves. It contained recordings from like 73, 4, up to 76, 79. And this person, he thought, well, this is a gold mine right there. So he collected all the footage material from all over the world. And when they do their own, the package, they did some a package called Kissology, which is from like 73 to like 76 and so forth. And they've done like 3 of those. And his job was to get all the licensing deal for it so that they could release this. On the side, he thought it was a good idea to go to people like me who are really fucking nerdy and say, hey, I got a clip here that's never been shown. It's from 1974. Nobody knows about this. Nobody knows this exists. You want a piece of this or what? It will cost you $350. The clip is for like 3 minutes and 24 seconds. A friend of mine is one of those people that bought stuff like this. I don't have that kind of money, and I don't know. I have a hard time paying for stuff like that. But still, moving along, somebody recognized that this was happening on the side and said, fuck you and the horse you rode in upon. Making money on the side like this. And they released all the stuff that he's been collecting and licensing. So we got, for like a period of like 2 weeks, stuff on YouTube, live video footage from like the early 74 stuff from like January and up until like 76, and some stuff from the 80s and so forth. And it was a shitload of stuff, and it sort of exploded, and people like me are going, hell yeah. So of course I had to keep some of it for myself, but it's crazy because I had to go back and listen to the recordings, because one of the recordings was from Anaheim Stadium from 1976, and this is a bootleg that I bought when I was like in my, I think it was like I was 18, 19 years old. And this is one of those bootlegs when people look at this and say, okay, so you got a paper sheet here with Gene Simmons, and it's sort of like a photocopy of a picture, and you got like the Curse Army logo there on the back, and it's white, and it's crazy to think about only when you look at this, because there is nothing to it. It's a black album, and even the labels, we talked about this with Soren, even the labels doesn't match the music, but it's you had to take what you can get when you printed these. Mm-hmm. These are going for, brace yourself, between 150, depending on the quality of the album, between $150 and $250. And this is a bootleg from it. Of course, it's a recording, not an audience recording, because it's a radio thing that it was Anaheim Stadium. The show on August 20th, 1976 went out on the radio. It was a competition, and there was some crazy DJs on stage. You can watch the show. It's on YouTube. But I had to bring this up because it was exploding for like 2 weeks. And we got Anaheim Stadium. We got this one too. Also one of those rare bootlegs. Takes Tokyo. Tokyo in 1977. One of the early, because when they went to Japan, they did like 2 shows a day. One midday show and one evening show. So the one of those,
wow, interesting,
we didn't know was recorded, leaked out, so we could watch like Tokyo 1977 for like 2 hours, or 1 hour, or whatever they played it. They didn't play it 2 hours back in the day, but still, so freaking excited, excited to talk about this even now. I'm blabbering. I know it's inconclusive, but it's heaven to watch. One of the shows was like 32 minutes from Cobo Hall in Detroit, 1975. We were supposed to be one of the recordings that was going on Kiss Alive. And if you look at the back cover of Kiss Alive, there's two guys, two youngsters holding up a homemade poster that they did on the back cover. And you could see that one flash right by in this video. And I almost shit my pants. It was so nuts to see it. And it's, I mean, 32 minutes of pure heaven recorded in May 1975. You didn't know it existed. You only heard about it. It was crazy. Some of the stuff is still on there on YouTube, but of course that channel had to close down because it was sort of like copyright infringement and licensing and whatnot. It was crazy, totally crazy. But I was in heaven for like 2 weeks. I'm still there, though. So, and that's about it.
I bet.
And that's about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, in related Kiss news, you did hear about the Kiss Museum,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Where you and I, met in Vegas, and we've talked about this on the show a few times. At the Kiss Mini Golf, they actually added a Kiss Museum.
And you know
which is actually
what
pretty cool.
The museum contains? It's Gene Simmons' own personal collection. He had it in his house in Beverly Hills. But they sold the house.
Oh, really?
So instead of just going out in storage, he thought that, well, maybe we should do a Kiss museum. And of course, it's all already there in Las Vegas. So it's his personal stuff that he's collecting throughout the years. He owns everything. Friends of mine, Carl and Alex, they wrote a book. And of course, in Gothenberg, they got to present the book to Gene, and he's holding it up in various pictures. And it's so cool to see. It's freaking nuts. So he owns everything. Every licensed product there is, he's got a copy of it. And it's so, going to Las Vegas again. Phil, hey, what's going on? So, and our
road trip.
A road trip, and our wife's going, oh, really? Damn.
I think she'd be up for that because that was one hell of a weekend, man. That was
it'll get down in the history books right there. Oh man.
It is, man. Yeah, that was a phenomenal.
It was. Yeah. So, and we're gonna keep going with stuff that I got on my mind, spinning, collecting, buying, and are in the midst of stuff, and keep going like this because this is some great stuff right here. Yeah. So
definitely.
And if you like to listen to past show, goes to soundsonvinyl.com. And if you want to watch stuff from my collection, go to my Instagram account at Sounds on Vinyl and check out all the crazy stuff that I collect. My multiple copies of Kiss Alive. We talked about this.
That's right.
Scary stuff.
Yes. Yeah, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't ever miss an episode because we put that stuff out there pretty much every week. We release some stuff. We take some breaks every now and then, but all right. Well, I guess until next week.
Later.